Welcome back from the break. You're watching NewsX and I'm Savri Jindal. We start with the top story of this hour. The Finance Ministry has clarified there is no proposal to levy MDR on regular UPI transactions. Regular UPI payments made directly from bank accounts remain free from both users and merchants. Speculations about fees on UPI, even for amounts above Rs 2,000, was called completely false, baseless and misleading by the government. MDR can apply only in specific cases like UPI payments made using credit cards or certain third-party wallets. If MDR is applicable, it is charged to the merchant, not to the consumer and the customer. In fact, since January 2020, there has been no MDR on RuPay debit cards and UPI to promote digital payments. The government instead runs an incentive scheme for small merchants for transactions up to Rs 2,000. Some reports also mention bank charging payments aggregators a small fee from August 1st and discussions about a possible 0.3% to 0.5% MDR only for large merchants while keeping UPI free for consumers. Now, let's now take a look at 7 FAQs on this update and what exactly does it tell us. So, of course, many questions coming to the forefront, and we have a list of 7 that have been asked very frequently. Here's number 1 on our screens. Will I have to pay to use UPI? The answer is no. Regular UPI payments made directly from your bank accounts remain free for users. So that's number 1 and out of the place, where of course it's been clearly indicated that no, UPI customers will not be paying an additional fee. Number 2, what is MDR in UPI? Well, MDR is a fee merchants pay to bank or payment providers for processing digital payments, but UPI bank to bank P2M transactions have 0% MDR. Again, a clarification that's really important as far as that's concerned. Number 3, is the government planning to charge MDR on UPI? The answer is that the Finance Ministry has said that speculations about MDR on UPIs is completely false and baseless. So the Finance Ministry, of course, coming out and giving a statement of a surety on that front. Number 4, will MDR be charged for UPI payments above Rs 2,000? The answer is no. The government has clarified that there is no proposal to levy MDR or GST on standard UPI transactions of over Rs 2,000. So again, a very important clarification coming there. Number 5, who pays MDR if it is applicable? A very frequently asked question. The answer is that MDR, if applicable, is charged to the merchants and not to the customer. So again, I make that very clear. If there is going to be a fee that's going to be charged, it's going to be to the merchant and not to the customer. Number 6, are there any UPI transactions where MDR can be applied? Well, yes, there are. MDR can be applied in specific cases like paying via credit cards, on UPI or through certain third-party wallets. That's the only place where it is applicable. Let's put out the last question that has been asked very frequently. What is being discussed about UPI fees for larger merchants? The answer is that reports, as far as reports are concerned, they are saying that policymakers are considering a small MDR of only for large merchants above a threshold while keeping UPI free for consumers. Those are, of course, the 7 questions that have been highlighted again and again as far as this development is concerned. But now let me get in a perspective from an expert who's going to delve into it a little bit more. Dr. Sharad Kohli, senior economist, is with us on the broadcast. So appreciate you joining us, and I do want to understand from you, in your assessment, sir, what are the pros and cons of this decision that has been tabled?
Good morning, Savri, again. This has been running since 2016, and look at the quantum which it has reached right now, about 2,200 crore transactions per month, 30 lakh crores in terms of value. And first of all, the consumers don't need to be worried. I think there's a misconception which is being spread across that people will have to start paying on the UPI. You're not going to start paying, first of all. This is going to remain free for transactions below 2,000. Anyway, it's going to be free and a person-to-person transfer is also going to be free. Just the way you use your credit card. Now, what happens when you use your credit card, the merchant pays you don't pay. For you, credit card, I mean, between you and the credit card company, if there's any membership fee, that's different. But on the transaction, unless you roll over a credit card, credit card usage is completely free of charge. So likewise, merchant discount rate, MDR as it is called, is going to be levied on the business establishments and not on the consumers. That's the first thing. And a very interesting data, which we need to keep in mind, Savri, is that 95% of the transactions happening on UPI are below 2,000 rupees. 95%. Two-thirds of the transactions happening, in terms of value, are happening over that amount. So basically, it is the merchant establishments, and we need to keep in mind that it is being subsidized by the government until now. It is such a huge facilitation, unifying all your bank accounts into one single app, and you are easily able to make the payment. I think there is cyber security, there is fraud monitoring, there are these payment apps, there's banking system, there's settlement system. There is a whole machinery which is running behind managing this UPI, which makes it so easy. So this could not have gone for a long time. And RBI governor said a very interesting thing. He said, you feel it is free, but even now it's not free. You are indirectly paying for it because the load on the government, it's a kind of a subsidized service. The load on the government anyway comes to the common man's pocket, ultimately through the fiscal budget in some way or the other. You may not be directly paying. So effectively, to keep this sustainable and looking at the volumes which are growing every other day, I think some kind of recovery has to be there now after so many years, and that too from the merchants. So I think most of the people who are using concern are consumers. They don't need to be worried. So all the misconceptions which were being spread have been removed by these question answers, Mr. Savri.
All right, so appreciate you joining us on the broadcast, sharing our insights with us on NewsX. We're going to leave it there and shift our focus to some more breaking news coming in. Tamil Nadu's two major Dravidian parties, the DMK and AIADMK, have